YouTube, Cole Spivey.
Welcome to the Please Subscribe Show!
Welcome to the Please Subscribe Show!
Welcome to the Please Subscribe Show!
It's propeller plane, so I had to. We're almost there. And they are really getting festive. Very strange. Guy was walking back there, but he had it was like a bag up to his, covering his face. I guess blocking the wind or something. I don't know. Very strange. I didn't get it though, but he's back there on where the curve was. Dropping off some pizza way out here in the country, somewhere near Justin, Texas, I'm assuming. It's kind of bumpy. man, this pizza's really going out there. It's kind of a weird jog in the road kind of thing. Still hauling the pizza, so I don't know really, I know we're probably near Justin, but other than that, I'm just following the GPS. So it'd be Farm Road 2449 that we're turning on to drop off this pizza. Now we're turning on Schluter, I believe it's called Schluter, and we're way out there, way out there. It's 3 pizzas from Papa John's. Going to someone's door way out there in Texas. Well, this is the neighborhood where the pizza goes for tonight, for, well, one of them, one of the drops. Way over there in the distance. I'm not a big believer in UFOs, but I saw these floating lights, which they're most likely airplanes going into DFW or Alliance. There's 4 of them right there. They're just kind of floating there, but that's pretty much a plane right here. Most likely just playing. But you never really know. Anyway, I'm on this road, Schluter, headed back. About 22 minutes until we get back to the Speedway. Well, stop by Buc-ee's for little snack. Got one of these protein pack things. It's like a turkey and grapes and cheese and drink and some chips, sour cream chips. So it comes with grapes and cheese. I forgot about the egg, boiled egg, pecans, and some type of turkey thing. You can read this. It's in ingredients right here. A little pricey, but I figured, you know, might as well for the holidays. This is the cheese, which I think it's cheddar. These are like turkey slices or something, cubes. It's quite the meal. I usually de-yolk these, but it's just one egg. And then getting pepper. Not too bad. A little pricey, but I guess it's good for you. Kind of see the Christmas lights starting to unravel in Pecan area, Pecan Square, and the adjacent neighborhood here. I would say almost every house from this angle, a lot of the houses there have Christmas lights. So TXU is pretty happy about that over there. Well, they forgot the Popeyes iced tea, so. I know we're supposed to go the extra mile, but in this case, I'm going the extra 18 miles. So I told them I'd go and get their tea and bring it back. I really don't suggest that, but they really wanted the tea. So now I'm going the extra 18 miles. You know, you're supposed to go the extra mile, So 2 interviews I completely 100% recommend. Well, one, of course, Smartless interviewing Halle Berry. And you can't miss out on awards chatter with Harvey Keitel and Lansky. There's really not a better actor on this planet than Harvey Keitel, maybe Brando. But, you know, we're all partial to Harvey for bringing us parts of humanity that people just haven't really seen. Of course, if I'm going to mention Harvey Keitel, I got to mention De Niro. I didn't know 2 things when I listened to Harvey Keitel's interview. first thing, I didn't know that Robert De Niro and Harvey Keitel both studied under Stella Adler, and that they met in acting class. And of course, they did meet at the Actor Studio. I also didn't know they were good friends, but I figured they probably were. But it's interesting listening to Keitel talk about when he met De Niro, and they both smiled and eventually laughed. And I was thinking about presence of an actor, and when I think of presence of the actor, I always think of Marlon Brando, a great presence. But I also think of Keitel, and his voice has a great presence too. That whole interview, you listen to that interview, he talks about going way back when he was in the Marines and learning, I think it was called darkness combat or something to do with combat in the dark. And just the whole interview is mesmerizing. It puts you in a state. I just got to take my hat off to Keitel for that interview. Amazing. I remember when I first got to the Actor Studio Drama School in New York, and I saw Lipton give a little speech. He did show a little documentary about the Actor Studio, and then there was Harvey Keitel talking about Taxi Driver and how he got that role. And it was an interesting interview because I found out the role that he wanted as sport wasn't the one role that was offered to him. He was actually going to be the campaign manager. There's another thing too I thought was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff about that interview. But what's also interesting too is the bravery, I think, that Keitel carries as a person, and an actor too. But I want to see Lansky. There's awards chatter about Lansky. Right now I'm listening to Smartless with Halle Berry. I got to run back to this Popeyes and pick up this gallon of tea. I just feel kind of bad. Ideally, I probably wouldn't do this, but it's the holidays, and I guess, this is me going the extra 18 miles for these people. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, Harvey Keitel. I didn't get to meet you. I did get to, of course, meet James Lipton and a lot of other great actors. But I knew that opportunity probably would arise, and I had to leave right after that year of 9/11. I did get to meet another actor that probably Keitel maybe have mentioned and talked about. Great actor of the studio, Eli Wallach. I did get to meet him, and I'm very. I didn't get any autographs or anything, but I'm very honored that I got to meet Eli Wallach. I got to shake his hand, even though he was wearing a glove, one of those, those gloves you wear in wintertime because it was cold outside. And plus he played Mr. Freeze, but anyway, regardless, that's one of the stories I always think of. But if I would have stayed that second year, I would have got to see Martin Scorsese interviewed, which breaks my heart that I didn't get to see that. And I probably would have ran into Harvey Keitel eventually. I always, in my mind, always kind of run into him. I did send him a script, or at least to the Goat songs. I don't know if he got it. It was Once in a Lifetime. It was a script called Once in a Lifetime about a crazy rideshare driver. Anyway, I got to pick up this tea and bring it to these people out in the country. Also, another great moment in the Harvey Keitel awards chatter done at Chapman University is when Keitel talks about being invited to NYU to see some dailies that Martin Scorsese did of the opening of Mean Streets. And he thought the dailies were beautiful, and he was looking at them. The opening is where Keitel's walking around looking at the church, and I think in the actual movie, from what I remember, he fills the candle flame. He's talking about paying for your sins. You can't do it in church. You have to do it in the streets and at home and things like that. And Keitel made a comment in the interview when all of a sudden, this quietness of the main character walking around in the church, and all of a sudden, "Who's That Knocking on My Door" comes on, the song. And at that point, he knew that there was something special about Martin Scorsese, because it kind of blew him away. There was a complete style there with quite the film director. The character that Harvey Keitel plays in that segment is named Charlie. De Niro actually is in it too. He plays a character named Johnny Boy. It's actually a really good. It's probably one of Scorsese's one of his best movies. Even though it comes off, like Keitel said, as almost like a student film, but I don't think it was a student film at all. But it's amazing, that interview for Awards Chatter. You got to listen to it. I think he's been interviewed in the Actors Studio too. I think he was interviewed by Lipton. That one's amazing too. It's amazing, like, these different directors compared to other directors. They say David Lynch is kind of a protege or another version maybe of like Fellini, but I don't know if I completely agree with that. I think Scorsese's also kind of a version of Fellini. Some of Fellini's early work, especially, or biographical work. Compare the two, who really is the next Fellini, But regardless, every time Scorsese's name's mentioned, heads are turned, and there's no one more connected acting-wise, with Scorsese than Harvey Keitel, and of course De Niro too. Anyway, I gotta focus on driving here.